Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Louise.
Here
You
we
know
are.
what's so great is we're reading Susan Kiyo Ito's book, I Would Meet You Anywhere. Today we're reading What Do You Need?
Mhm.
A Small Crime and What I'm so sorry,
What
what
I
I
did
did
over
over
spring,
spring break. Yes.
which isn't
But
the fun you think. Yeah.
no, it's so good and
Oh my God, her writing is so rich. Thank you, Susan. This is a pleasure.
very much a pleasure.
So
Um,
what did you start with in this? There was something
well,
I started with, but tell me what you started with. I bet it's the same.
What Do You Need is about talking to her parents about finding her biological mother.
Hmm.
Um, and her father, the title of the book is because her father has this habit of like, what do you need? And so she's so nervous about telling them about her search, but
Yeah.
they finally are like, yeah, what do you need?
They're such troopers. I really like her parents.
I do too. I highlighted, how could I explain my searching to them? There was only one answer because I needed to know. I needed to know
Hmm.
the answer to the question people constantly ask me, what are you? Where are you from?
Hmm. I know that's exactly what. And there was one line before that. And she's looking at I'm sure this has happened to you too. She's looking at the pictures of her happy family from like her childhood, and her mom's in a swimming cap and a full outfit, and they're both tan, her parents. And it says they were smiling for me, and in their smiles, I could see that everything was right in their world.
Yes, in their world.
Yeah, I like that
I wonder
because
if that was an
I mean,
intentional.
I know I wondered too. I wanted to
We can
ask
ask
her.
her. We know Susan. We can ask her.
Susan, let us know, please, when you hear this review.
On the next page, and this was just
I
a
jump out.
funny thing of the era that I
Hmm.
noted. Was, and she's going through, she found the file about, the Susan's papers
Yeah.
and the thing about the foster mother going through the routine. And
Hmm.
then, on the back, my mother's careful handwriting, a recipe for formula, evaporated milk, water, and sugar. Like that would not fly these
No,
days.
I wonder we have a whole
No
generation hooked
wonder
on
I have
sugar.
no wonder I have such a big time sweet tooth and have
I mean, and if you,
struggle with it.
yeah, and the formula I was on, I read years later, they recalled it because of so much sugar. It was like plowed with sugar. I forget the name. It wasn't Similac, but it was like pre-Similac. Like, I don't
Thank
know.
you, Era, that wasn't aware of nutrition. Just basically, it
Oh,
was just to fatten up the babies quickly,
yeah.
probably.
I have another question for Susan in this. What do you need? She found another picture of another little Japanese
Yes.
boy in the files that she was like, she went, her parents would have given her these files, but she didn't know that. So she went and
Yeah.
like dug through her,
Snuck.
snuck, right? Snuck looking. But he had a birthday a year before his, and it was a little boy. And she didn't know if they passed on him or what was the story with that picture. And
Yeah, because
she,
she knew they wanted a
ah,
girl.
yeah,
But so I'm sure she'll reveal that later, was
yeah,
my guess, because I definitely noted that too.
I hope
I
so.
wonder if later she'll
Mm-hmm.
find out.
Oh,
And
you're right.
then we jump to a small crime, and
Love
I,
this part.
at the very end of the chapter, I wrote the lengths adoptees have to go to, or did have to go to anyway. And this is because
Loved it. Yes.
yes,
Okay,
she
so we have two people who have committed small crimes that I love so far. We have Emma Stevens,
yes,
who broke in and stole her
Linda
files, and
Pivac, yeah.
Leona Pivac, and stole other people's adoptee files and brought them back. And they were just in boxes. And now we have Susan, who pretends to be pregnant. So tell this, I
But
love
also
this
her
part.
mother. Her
Yes.
mother lied
Yeah, I love her
to,
mom.
she asked her mom to her parents were so open to helping. Oh, we wanted to know. We
What
wondered when
took
you'd
you
want to
so
know.
long?
Yeah, what took you so long? Um, and so her mother had to call the hospital, was it the hospital, and
Yes.
pretend that she had lost the papers, and she
Yeah.
totally went along with it and did it. So they got her birth name, and also was that where she got her birth mother's name?
Oh, she got her birth mother's name in the next escapade, but her name was Miko. Very pretty.
Yeah.
Mika or Miko?
Mika.
Mika, and very pretty. And she had a little helper too, by the way, at her she worked at a deli and a guy named Henry who would come in was like a UFO investigator on the side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was a grad student
He was a
who's
grad
upset, and he's like, "Hey,
student.
what's your obsession?" And she just blurted out with him
Yeah,
to him, and she had a boyfriend at the time who her
I
search
like that
was
part.
making him uncomfortable. Like
I thought
she,
that was
there.
interesting because I've had that with people that I'm close to, and I'm sure you have, and every adoptee has when you talk about it and they get this uncomfortable thing,
Mm-hmm,
you don't share. And then people say, well, my adopted friend's happy. They never shared with me. Well, maybe they've tried. Thought that was interesting because her
mm-hmm.
boyfriend, they like she blurts out to this Henry guy her whole story.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah,
then once he found it for her, then he came over with champagne
yeah, it
and
was
then
cute.
here's the most wild
Yeah.
thing. It is just another one of those crazy kismet things. You know, what I did yeah. So anyway, we didn't finish
Yeah.
what she did, which was pretend to be pregnant, have the records sent to, she looked in the phone book for a OBGYN because the hospital's like, yeah, sure, we'll send them to you. Who's your doctor? And she's like, what? And so she flips through the
Oh my God.
yellow pages,
Some
finds
random
an
person.
OB, some random OB, makes an appointment pretending
Yeah.
like she's pregnant and gets in there and sees her file and takes it and run and just flees.
So bold. Totally
So
ran
bold.
and stole her file. They're probably like, what happened there? I mean,
I know. Who was this
and she wore
masked
baggy
woman?
clothes and she had never had a pelvic exam. I mean, it's pretty bold to go to a gynecologist. And
I
like,
mean, really.
I was thinking I probably wouldn't have done
Because
that.
like
That's actually
2 minutes
super
late,
bold.
2 minutes later, he could have walked in.
Yes.
He could have walked in while she was, I
Yeah.
mean, it just would have been so pretty amazing. And then what I found, so she's at school in Ithaca.
Hmm.
It's freezing cold and there's like a big student discount to go to Bermuda, but
Hmm.
and she sent away for the package and then for some reason didn't get the package. So she calls up her friend who lives in the Midwest and is already married and makes a plan to come see her. The friend is like, "We'll go cross country
Hmm.
skiing. Come, come, come." So
Yeah.
she makes the plan and in the meantime finds out
Oh, it's crazy. She finds out. So the guy Henry, I thought this was pretty cool. He narrowed down in the Midwest everybody with the last name her birth mother had.
Noguchi, yeah.
Noguchi narrows it down. She calls all of them. There's only
He
one
called them.
left. Oh,
He's
he
the one that
called.
wasn't
Yeah.
he the one that called them all or
One of them called
no,
them all,
no.
but there's one number left.
One number left in the town where her friend lived and where she was going to visit.
Yeah. And she calls it, she didn't call it. She had her friend and she calls her friend and it's like, can you do this for me? First, she has her friend call, and then it was the brother
Yes.
of the
That her
biological
uncle.
mom,
Yeah.
her uncle, who gives all the information to her friend
But
because she
the friend
lies.
didn't, yeah, she didn't tell him. She's like, I'm an old friend and
Hmm.
blah, blah, blah.
And then she calls her and calls her, and then she has her friend also call her mother, and her mother answers the phone and was like all happy, and then like
Like,
hardcore.
oh, realizing what the call was about.
Yep. And was very intense.
And she's like,
And
I'll get back to you. And she
yeah.
did. She got back to the friend, Gina.
Hmm.
And because Gina said, well,
She's
Susan's
coming.
going to be in town. She's coming to this town. And so the chapter ends with Gina saying, or with Susan showing up at the mother had said
Yeah.
Holiday Inn, noon, whatever the time was.
As she's getting off the plane, she finds this out. I'd be
Yeah.
so stressed out.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of big because she's young. Like
She's so young.
she's so young to do this and to face what could potentially be coming for rejection or, just we know with everything, it's so
Mm-hmm.
big. And she didn't
Very,
tell her
very.
parents, even though her parents were so upfront about the search, she still didn't tell them about this part, which is such an adoptee thing. You're
Mm-hmm.
still hiding it. You're still protecting, even though her parents are kind of open.
Yeah.
You just have guilt
And guilt, and also maybe you just want something for yourself that's
for
yours and yours
yourself.
alone. You don't have to
Yeah,
share everything and
I have
maybe
that too. Sometimes you're like, people don't get it, so don't share it type of thing. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
So
true. You're right. That could be both.
it
Well,
could
this
be
was
both.
good. Like it's hard for me to stop actually
I know. I
because I'm
know.
like,
This book is
darn it.
going fast.
It's going fast and I so enjoy it that I'm like, oh wait, okay, stop. You can't keep reading. It
Well,
won't
you
be authentic.
could and just reread, I mean, no,
I feel like it's so authentic because we read right before.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
it's like
so
we're real
good.
time. All
Real
right,
time.
we'll see you in a second for
Yeah, we have a good
Pam.
guest, Pam. See you in a minute.
Okay. See you in a minute.